Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time I was thinking, like, did you ever watch like well, don't do it during Finding Nemo, but like, what's the movie with LL Cool J with the shark?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Tail?
Yeah,
Shark
Blue.
Tail?
Shark Tale.
No.
No, it's not Shark Tale. No.
It's called This is amazing.
Geez, where they're fighting the shark. Anyways, I watch things and I'm like,
Jaws.
nope. I was like, I'd be dead. I couldn't hold my breath that long.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking this whole episode, like, okay, if I had to be Amiga, there's no way it took me like 4 hours to get something printed today. There's no way I
to be
can
able to,
relay information. I'm like, that looks like a panel.
So what you're saying is you're not an action heroine.
No, I am not. I'm barely the droid.
She knew what she was doing though. That was like all Kaminoan technology, and
That's true.
she grew up with that.
We should put some parameters on this here shindig before we get too far into anything.
Yes.
In case anyone
All
happened
right.
to show up for like a cooking demo or something, and they definitely haven't caught up on the Bad Batch.
That'll be in Hall F. The F
So-
stands for fun
so
and
let's
food.
start
Hello,
the
everyone. Welcome
everybody.
in. Welcome to Let Your Spoilers Side. There we go. Let Your Spoilers Side Show. We are talking The Bad Batch, Episode 9, and pretty much anything Star Wars canon is fair game, including
The movie with LL Cool J and the shark.
that I can't remember the name
We'll
of.
spoil that
and
one too,
Jaws.
whatever it is.
Someone will let me know in just a
Wait a
second.
minute.
I think it was
It's not
LL
the
Cool J.
Megalodon? It's not the Mega?
No,
or
no,
anything?
no, not
No,
Meg.
no.
Amiga?
Meg.
The Meg?
Meg. No, that's
I
from
don't know what
Jason
it's called.
Statham.
Leviathan?
All right.
Spoilers.
Ooh,
Sorry.
Leviathan. Wait a minute.
Anything you got?
Is it the one with Samuel L. Jackson too? Wasn't there a Samuel L. Jackson shark movie?
No, that
Anyway,
was
Deep Blue.
Deep Blue.
Yes.
Deep Blue.
Deep Blue.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Ella was in that
Tom
too?
Haverford has the
That was-
Canadian edition, which has 15 extra minutes.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Also, yeah, we're talking Parks and Rec season 6 specifically. Welcome
Yeah.
Hey,
everyone.
we did an article about the top 10 sharks in pop culture. That's
Was
on our
Deep Blue
website.
on there?
Yes.
And Deep Blue.
And the shark that Fonzie jumped over. So
Oh, nice.
With Shark Boy in it. Shark Boy and Lava
Much
Girl.
like a shark that went right
I
over
think
my
we left
head.
Shark Boy out. Anyways.
Oh wow!
By the way,
Blue.
Salt City Vapor, AJ Agrusa,
Deep
and
Blue Sea.
PRP knew it off
Yeah.
the top. They knew it was Deep
Yep.
Blue Sea.
Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Anyways, that movie. It's like how long could you hold your breath when he's swimming? But you can do that during Finding Nemo, you'll die because the whole movie's
True.
underwater.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
well, welcome to Let Your
Best
Spoiler Side
open
show.
ever.
You have to,
Spoiler
you have to
side
hold
show,
your
Deep
breath
Blue
when
Sea.
Nemo's out of the water, not in the water.
I'm going to hold my breath until we
Till
get
this
this show
show's
on the rails.
on the
And
I
rails.
have been trying.
I will die.
Come on, Joe. Cheese and rice.
We invited
welcome.
Joe. That's the problem.
Talking
This is why I'm
episode
not here all
9.
week.
Talking episode 9 of the Bad Batch Joe. Again, called Lost Bounty.
Bounty
Lost.
Lost.
Bounty Lost. My dyslexia. So, talking Bounty Lost. This was a really great. Can we do the thumb thing again? Oh, before we do that, Alex.
Spoiler. We need to do the
Do it,
thing.
Alex.
Oh, are we letting them know? Okay.
Yes.
This is a spoiler alert. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
We want to put it real big at the top so you guys remember, because we have people watching in like what, 6 places.
Yeah.
Facebook group, the Let Your Geek Side Show Facebook group, the Let Your Spoiler Side Show Facebook group, the Facebook page, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. So
And
we're spoiling
Twitch.
this
Oh,
everywhere.
For everyone.
everywhere.
Spoiling this
we're just a
everywhere.
bunch of spoilers.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
If
And
the
if you want
person-
to, yeah,
I was
if you
saying,
want to join the
person bringing a
discussion,
guitar to a party.
you want to join the discussion, side.show/SW Star Wars spoilers. So
Yes.
there you go. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and commenting.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, see, I hit everything. You guys take the rest
Okay.
of the show.
All right, Paul. Yeah, I agree. Let's do the thumbs up, thumbs down.
All right.
What's the
so
thumbs up, thumbs down?
we
If you
are
would.
going to let everyone know at the same time on the count of 3 what you thought of the episode.
in
No
the
middle of the road. So
middle.
thumbs up means you like the episode. You thought it was good for the maybe it was a step forward for the show. Or thumbs down, it's the opposite of what I just said.
I
so
feel like we all know what thumbs up, thumbs down means.
hey, I don't.
And in the
My job
audience-
is to explain.
Heads up,
If
Seven
it's
up.
Australia,
Yeah.
everything's reversed. So we got to make
Yeah.
sure our people
Thank you,
in
Alex.
Australia know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What
So
we mean.
on 3.
And in the audience, we want to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah.
Thumbs
What did
up
you guys
or
think
thumbs
of,
down.
of episode 9 on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Oh, unanimous.
Wow.
But Alex was like,
I
Reluctant
would have done like an angle. I would have done like an angle.
Wow.
Well, we
Okay,
don't have
so
a
let's-
protractor, so we're not gonna.
No.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be
I was like
hearing some of the
80%.
same reasons why we liked this episode from the four of us, who I think was pretty, we were pretty adamantly, thumbs up about this episode. Alex, we'll start with you. What was the hesitation for?
Oh well, the hesitation is all the way. It's just some points. I'll cover that one in my annoyed Alex corner. But for the most part, can I tell about what I liked about it?
Mm-hmm.
Please do.
I like some of the things that were resolved, like who hired who, because that was a confusing thing, and I wanted to know what side everyone. A lot of thumbs
Yeah.
up.
All
That
thumbs up
said,
so
hey,
far.
the who hired who was a hot topic of debate last week because we
Right.
all thought we were pretty sure. I mean,
Yeah.
It was very
we weren't
confusing.
that far off, but there was some politics involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So finding who hired who was killing me until we found out, which everything landed, I guess, around where we thought, and some of us, and Omega didn't drive me completely nuts this time. I was just told,
Praise indeed.
yeah, that is highest praise I can give. But I also did enjoy seeing our bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Face
That
to
was
face.
nice.
That was pretty tough.
I
good stuff.
loved the whole it was a cool throwback to the spaghetti westerns, even in some of the score that was done. It was very much of like the Man with No Name trilogy with oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name.
Don't help her.
Ken Bane being like the
Okay,
Lee Van
yeah.
Cleef character in the Good, Bad, and the Ugly whole trilogy, and he had that vibe, and it was just I'm a newly minted fan of that trilogy, and so when it's been fresh in my brain, and so when I watched this, I was like, oh, this is that. And I liked it a lot. And even the music cues were even doing that, and they were just really pushing that hard, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I feel like in this episode, we really got to see Omega as something that was more than fully just a MacGuffin for plot device. And interestingly enough, this has been my favorite episode of the series so far, and an episode that largely didn't feature the title characters. The Bad Batch were an afterthought in this one, but I liked seeing Omega have the resourcefulness and all of the things of her very sheltered upbringing that did come in handy, not only helping the droid, but also with activating the systems on an abandoned Kaminoan facility. And the fact that we started to get some answers, be they not entirely concrete or we're not sure what exactly is going to happen, but this did lay out a lot of the stakes for what's to come. And now we're officially in the back half of the first season. And hopefully, I mean, I say first season, we don't know how many seasons of the series we'll get, if it'll wrap up neatly by the end of this. But we are officially in the back half. We are in the end game now. Not really, not even close. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Different tab on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
What about you, Joe?
I'm very excited for that because traditionally I feel like the Star Wars animated series always put the most exciting episodes, the episodes that really push the storylines in the second half of each season. So I'm really excited to see what's coming next. But as for this one, I loved seeing Cad Bane really kind of get his butt handed to him, because in Clone Wars he was unstoppable for the most part. He never always completed his mission, but he was just, when he was on screen, he was the big bad. And to see him go toe to toe with Fennec Shan and not come out on top easily was great.
Remember when I said, I think it was last week or the week before, that we don't know why she's so legendary, and maybe it's because she kicks his butt?
Yeah. It really established her as a character to be afraid
Getting
of.
ahead of ourselves, Mike, but
Mike Fiala
Spoilers.
says, yeah, we can officially call her Omega Fett because she's exactly like Boba, no modifications. However, I thought it was also interesting that we did get the note or reminder that Boba was once considered Alpha. So we had Alpha and Omega.
What? Nice.
But here's my question.
Beginning and end, Alex.
They aren't
thank
necessarily
you.
the same age. He could be a little older than her.
No, he is older.
So they're even though they're brother and sister, they're not,
I know, and
twinsies along that line.
Awkward family reunions incoming.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, but
Like-
maybe she, as Omega, she signifies the last. I mean, she is technically the last pure essence of Jango Fett's genetic material.
Right.
So that is like, I mean,
Still
Boba might not
romantically.
necessarily have been the first, but she is the last, and that's why the bounty hunters are on her case.
Yeah.
That brings up one of my questions. Like, one of the things that I really loved about this episode was how it opened up the story to like more speculation and more things that you can think about going forward. But why are they not looking for Boba Fett? Why is all the focus on Omega? And he's got the same unaltered DNA, and it's just everything is on her.
But maybe she's a little better, or maybe this is a bait and switch. My whole thing is I want it to be a bait and switch, because my whole thing. Can I bring up this picture that I preloaded?
Yes,
Can I bring up
please.
this picture? This Boba Fett thing is ruining my Sheev theory. So I really hope this is a bait and switch. That what do they call them? Red herrings.
Red herring.
Red herring.
Red herring. Is
Like
this a red herring?
communism.
Yeah. Well, come on.
Sorry. Hey, we're spoiling Clue too.
We are spoiling Clue.
Spoilers
I
for
couldn't,
Clue.
I
Spoilers
couldn't
all.
spoil all of the endings of that film if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the main things, like Alex was saying earlier, that we did learn, which I think we were all asking, was like, who hired who? So,
Yeah.
okay. So first of all, is that not Cloud City?
That was looked
It was
like it.
Borovia. I think
Oh my
it's
God,
just a
Star
similar.
Wars.
I know we even had her Hail Mary pass, like Luke sending out the Force at the base of the friggin' weather vane. I think it was just a very similar like ecosystem, but this was specifically Borovia, an abandoned Kaminoan cloning
I mean,
facility.
it looks like Camino. Like the buildings themselves did look like Camino,
Yeah.
just floating.
Had it been Bespin, I think we would have had a Bespin name drop, unless Borovia is a place that is maybe in one of the video games like Braca. So maybe the audience will be able to.
Unless it's a
Yeah, someone can help us
suburb
with
of
that.
Bespin. What if it's a suburb outside of Bespin?
Yeah,
they don't want to commute.
Oh, I'm in the suburbs.
Yeah,
I'm in
it's like
Bespin
saying-
adjacent.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I live in L.A. Like you're in Santa Clarita. That's an hour away.
They're in no
Some
Bespin,
real
which
niche
is
humor.
North Bespin.
Yeah.
So we've got Steve Waterhouse says her being the last source unaltered makes it weird that they would want to kill her after extracting her DNA. It's like killing the golden goose.
Yeah.
Right.
I
They
think
did
at that
say they
point,
wanted him alive, her live, right?
Nala, sorry,
Nala's-
Lama. No, Nala says the one who loves her.
Joe Mama
Tom
Sue
Bay
said it.
got ganked. Rest in peace.
yeah.
Lama Sue is the prime minister. He said, "Feel free to terminate her once we have what we need."
But
And
didn't
that's why Nala
Cad
says,
Bane-
"No, I love her so much. I care about
But
her." all
didn't
the time."
Cad Bane say you're lucky? You need to be brought back alive? Did he say that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brought back alive, but
it's
terminated
probably-
when they extracted.
Why would
No,
they care?
he said that he was bringing her back alive, so they should pay him more.
Yeah, it may be something for the process.
Maybe, yeah.
We don't know exactly what Lama Sue is going to do with her when he gets her on the operating table, but
Right.
Anthony
probably not
Barrera.
The same thing happened with Grogu too. When they were extracting his DNA or
His blood.
whatever, it was like it was so traumatic that he was almost dead at that
Yeah.
point.
And Anthony Barrera is asking the one question that I had written down today.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't already have her DNA on file.
So it must be some other purpose. I don't think it's just DNA that they want. There's
It's like-
something
because then there'd be no story.
Yeah.
I
That
don't
I
think
don't
that's
know.
it. I think there's more to it than that. I think if it was DNA, obviously they have it on file. But
Mhm.
and then interesting, like Steve Waterhouse says they changed her Y chromosome to an X. My question is, why go to that effort? What's the purpose of having this clone be a female? Is there a specific reason? So there has to be, because it has to be a scientific, technological, clone
Because-
science reason.
Yeah, because technically.
reason.
Oh, what's your reason?
Who rules the world?
Girls.
Girls. All right. Anyways, that's
you.
it. I had nothing real.
Maybe she's a slayer.
Yeah.
Why are they always girls?
I like
but
how you
yeah,
and I
don't-
always find a way to make any of
Well
these
done.
spoiler
Life,
shows about Buffy.
Yeah.
finds a
Finds
way.
a way.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I mean, because I personally don't know enough about the science of real world cloning versus how this is very much Star Wars' attempt to canonize some of their cloning technology science, because before then it was just like, here, we've got 1 million clones. Do you want to check them out in our car dealership? But I think we're going to get some establishment of parameters for cloning that will possibly enlighten us on the future of Palpatine and Snoke. I had this weird brain thought the other day that it was like, oh, like what if, or not even the other day, but what if the story of her successful cloning, like the clone science, and then Grogu's blood sample stuff in the Mando is the complete formulation of how we got Snoke with the replicating the force sensitivity and bodies. I'm like, is this just a really convoluted way to retcon some information into the Rise of Skywalker? It might be.
Possibly. And
That's not a
Mandalorian.
crazy brain thought. That's a pretty
Right.
well thought out crazy
Two
brain thought.
series
that fell
about
out
men
of
and
that
their
tube.
babies and their magical clone babies.
What fell out of the tube? It looked
I
bigger
think
than...
It looked like a
It was a
Kaminoan.
Kaminoan. It looked like a Kaminoan, but it also kind of
Gross.
looked like a creepy Snoke without a face.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
disgusting.
But I mean, the head looked bigger than a Kaminoan.
Maybe they were cloning them for big brain Kaminoan. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think they wanted us to think it was a Kaminoan.
It
I
looked
we got
very
all
thought,
these-
I thought they wanted us to think it was Snoke.
Large
Yeah.
Then
bicycle
his
helmets. We
hands
got to push these.
Didn't look right.
John
Yeah.
Galgano says, it was interesting seeing an unfinished Kaminoan clone at that facility. So John also feels it's a Kaminoan. Thinking there's much more to their cloning efforts. I think something is going on with their own genome and they're trying to save their species.
That could be too. See,
Oh.
I was thinking that they're cloning themselves just constantly, like as a way to propagate their own species,
And
and
maybe it's degrading. Yeah.
and maybe we'll see Tanwi again.
Maybe Omega's like the frogs in Jurassic Park. Spoilers for Jurassic Park, by the way.
Put that in
She's
there.
You're gonna put that in there. Spoiler. Maybe she's like the frogs, and they're using her perfect, DNA to like fill in all the blanks in their own.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because
That's a little weird.
If they were
take it back.
cloning themselves, they wouldn't want the Kaminoan clones to have clone sickness and degrade over time.
Right.
Because they're the only ones who have the kind of. I mean, I don't know if and when in canon, because I think there were maybe some explorations in like the Battlefront games, but like when the Kaminoan operation goes kaput, like when does that stop being useful? I mean, I think we're going to see the Empire separating from them, but it would be very interesting to see because they wouldn't want their species because they're the only ones with the secret sauce. They've got the family recipe and they want to keep it going.
Spoilers for
It's
Dune.
green.
By the way, spoilers for Dune.
Yeah, Steve Nara says Kaminoans could be becoming like, oh man,
Could become
Bene
like the Bene
Tleilaxu?
Tleilaxu.
Those guys.
Telexu? I was
Yeah,
gonna say
I-
the Bane, Texas.
I
from
haven't
Dune.
read I've only read the first Dune novel, so I know the Bene Gesserit. So I didn't actually know. So spoilers for me for the Bene Tleilaxu from Dune. But yeah, I mean, there's always those weird.
I did watch one of those specifically with that cloning facility. One of those slow down videos of it, and there was a lot of different looking species in there.
Yeah.
So it could be that whatever they needed from maybe Boba, mixed with all of the various races that they needed to extend their species. Because maybe I read a couple of other things, but I guess they don't really matter because they're not canon. But it's things that have happened in novels that the Kaminoans at some point had lost the ability to breed, so they got or they couldn't breed like for every 100 years, so they needed to clone, and that's sort of how they got into the business of cloning. But I don't think that's canon. That's in the Darth Plagueis novel or something.
Yeah.
And that's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
I'm going to pull Mike's comment back up.
Wouldn't
but
be wise.
Steve Waterhouse says that first clone in the jar looked kind of messed up, so maybe they can't clone themselves successfully. And Mike says maybe the Kaminoans plan on combining Jango Fett's DNA to enhance their own DNA to create a force of their own.
Like a frog in Jurassic Park.
Uh-huh.
Life
So many
finds a way.
Spoiler
Remember, this-
alert.
That
This
is
is
now
the-
the second time we've said that quote on this show.
Life,
I said that earlier.
Yeah, you did.
This
Finds
isn't
a
the
way.
first clone army that they've created though, because in the second movie they said something to the effect of like this is the greatest army, like alluding to the fact that they're in the business of making armies, of doing cloning for hire.
I mean, you wouldn't just unveil this as like a first time gig. I
Yeah.
mean, the Empire came to them specifically because they've got a reputation.
Yeah, so
I'd like to see that
they're deep
story.
into the cloning, and they're the best at it. So
Yeah.
whatever they need Amiga for is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Stephen Matthew brings up a good point, because I also was in this same school of thought. I had started to think maybe that, he says, I'm sorry, I was really going to guess Fennec was hired by Boba to save the other clone like him. I mean, do we think that Boba knows that Omega is out there?
If
Because it
she's
would-
younger, then probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, I see.
essentially,
can ask
she's a pure clone, she's essentially their siblings, really. So I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point in his story, hasn't he already kind of gone off with the other bounty hunters, and then they say they lost track of him at some point. So I don't think he would have.
Oh.
Yeah, Anthony Barrera says I don't think she knows he exists. Liage B on YouTube says Omega could be in the upcoming Book of Boba Fett series to continue her story. Brother and sister unite
and reunite with Fennec.
with Fennec.
I love it. Yes, please do that. Please
Oh.
excuse me, Lucas. Please do that.
Yeah, I think Omega is shaping up to be too important of a character to have been retconned into the like. Look, it was Jodie Comer in the film, like as a quick cameo.
Yeah.
From Rise of Skywalker. I absolutely think that. Granted that she survives the series, I don't think Disney would do us that dirty, but you never know. Granted that she survives, I think we're gonna get a reappearance possibly because all of these shows have had a nice synergy. I mean, we get the Mandalorian season 2 and see the return of Fennec Shand before we jump back to her. And this show was in development for years before they started filming Mando. Like, I mean, not like years, but the character models and designs from this, I saw in some behind the scenes thing. These were established before Mando began filming.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Lizzie brings up a great point that I was also completely blown away. Lizzie says, I always think I've seen the best from Lucasfilm animation, but then they blow my mind again. That smoky hallway scene was absolutely stunning. It was gorgeous. Yeah, it was amazing.
It was a great set to have a fight like that.
And then for some reason, I really love the scene where that cloning tube falls on Fennec.
Yeah.
You can just see, like, when it hits her, you can see all of the tiny little pieces of glass. And then on some of the small pieces of glass that, like, they were probably thinking, no one's going to pause this and look at this exact scene. Even on those scenes, you can see the reflection of the green off of them. It's incredible.
It's amazing.
There have been so many
and you felt like the panic once it cracked open and it was on her. I just like the panic to get out from under it was so palpable.
Yeah. There have been so many amazing textures, even on like flat surfaces when you get like close to a droid or a wall, just the way it looks almost painted on.
Even off their armor. I paused it on their armor a couple times, and you can see the brush strokes that are all over it that just add to that that worn universe.
And even the detail, or like what I loved also. I mean, we didn't really get into it, but the the bounty hunter fight. Was awesome.
Let's get into it.
I think that was segue. So bounty hunter fight. That was truly like probably the most exciting, one of the most exciting pieces of like Lucas and Star Wars animation that I had seen. And granted, I haven't finished Clone Wars, so maybe there's some stuff I'm missing, but that was
definitely a standout
great.
of this series for sure.
Oh, of this series, best moment for me. Like, hands down. Maybe the only scene that was cooler is, I don't know why, I really liked in the last episode, or what was the one where Crosshair got all messed up?
Yeah, the last one.
Last one. That engine, like the way that engine looked, like that whole scene was beautiful. But this scene, like, it definitely had like an urgency to it, and it was just always moving forward. I think the only time I remember it like kind of calmed down was like a real tense moment with Toto and her, and she was, trying to get out, which was also interesting because she knew what she was doing, which is very, you can see the forces of the Bad Batch and everyone else around her starting to take their effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, getting into that fight, I mean, Fennec won, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the final kicker of like, she also had time in there to mess up his ship.
Yeah, that was pretty
she had
impressive.
time to mess up the ship, and she had time to go have a nice little chat with Omega as well, just like, and I
killing it.
think a lot about from this episode, what stood out was she's like, I'm trying to help you, like I'm and she couldn't necessarily divulge who she was working for, but the fact that she says, but ultimately, Omega, the only person you can rely on is yourself. Like, I wonder how that's if she's gonna internalize that at all, if we're gonna see that come up as a thing that she learns or feels at some point when because she did a great job on her own in this episode. So
I mean, I'm sure I'm missing maybe one person, but it definitely felt like different beats and different like very specific moments for Omega were inspired by different members of the Bad Batch. Like, I felt like when she was talking in tech, that was obviously very much tech. When she was just like, she didn't know what she was going to do, and she just like, Leroy Jenkins and jumped on top of Toto. That's a very like Wrecker thing to do.
That's not how you say his name.
Wrecker.
There you go.
And then, like in the kind of hallway, waiting and listening for where
Yeah.
Cad Bane was in the fog, that would be Hunter because of his
Yeah.
senses.
It was
Mhm.
such a great episode.
It was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, and yeah, I did like because Brittany said I had the same thought. I'm interested to see what happens with Crosshair. I think
Yeah.
she's responding to this. Who said on another note, anyone notice how Crosshair looked a little bit like Dengar?
Yeah.
Which he did. He was all the way he was bandaged and every. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely did. I did find one meme
Oh,
for the
good.
show that I thought was that's pretty important.
Standard issue,
my
galactic
God.
toothpicks.
Galactic
Venn
toothpicks. Mhm. Venn diagram. Yeah, that's the millennial Venn diagram. So, I mean, Mike Fiala sort of saying, in a much better way what I was thinking. Thank you, Mike. I was thinking exactly that, Paul. She's really become an amalgam of everyone that she's come across.
And
yeah,
that
I mean,
might not be special genetics. That is
Yeah.
because she was so sheltered, but she's cut of the same cloth as these men.
Yeah.
And so she has the potential, whether or not and obviously now we know she does not have the altered DNA, but that potential is inside of her, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool to see. And so she just needed to be, I mean, I don't advocate for taking tiny children out into the field of battle, but she's learning very quickly because she has that in her.
so the official Let Your Spoiler Sideshow position. Do not
Yeah.
take tiny children out into space battles.
Amy, that's what drove me crazy the first few episodes was how they're.
Oh,
Oh no.
I wanna
Alex,
go to-
move your mic closer.
What drove me crazy
There we
with the first couple episodes is how she was like, I want to go into your battles, and they're like, no, and she's like, but please, and they're like, fine. That's what drove me nuts the first few episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. And I'm glad like maybe she'll learn something from
Mhm.
all of this. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
Stress.
But I like that like this is her world now. This is her family. She's just
Yeah.
picking up what they do, and she's doing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be part of her, thing. That might have been what made Django special. Is maybe he has a good
He's
memory for
adaptable.
learning.
Django's the taskmaster of the Star
Yeah.
Wars universe.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure is, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just been interesting. I think the last two episodes have really sort of relit the fire. I think on this show, it's sort of reintroduced urgency and reintroduced I think because what people are sort of saying, and I mean, I don't see it. Again, I'm not done with Clone Wars, but they're like, oh, this is the epilogue of Clone Wars, sort of, or this is another season of it, season 8. I finally feel like it's sort of coming into that realm or filling those shoes because I've always felt with Clone Wars while some of the episodes are completely don't have to do with they all make the tapestry of Star Wars, but I don't know, it finally feels again like it's moving forward
Right.
with this show. I don't know. I mean, we're for everyone. I guess here, where does this rank as far as top episodes?
This is my favorite.
Of all animated Star Wars or this series?
Oh, Joe, just of the Bad Batch.
Oh, this was definitely my favorite, but I think
Yeah.
it was the very nice payoff to the last episode, which I would then say is my second favorite. I think these 8 and 9 are just a perfect 1-2 punch of urgency, driving the plot, giving us information that they teased out for 8 other episodes. And this one really delivered on the promise that Reunion left us with. Except for the what's Crosshair going to do now that he's gotten? That's the next plot thread I think we'll be following. But it really delivered on the payoff. It made a payoff for the Fennec Shand setup and the Cad Bane quick turnaround.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, one thing I do want to know is because it's my favorite part. Anytime I ask anyone, I'm like, "Hey, what do you think of the episode?" Hey, Alex,
Yeah.
what was bugging you this episode?
What
Well, first I want to say that this is definitely one of my top episodes, as well. This is definitely one of my top episodes since the
He contains
premiere.
multitudes.
Things that drove me nuts. Hold on. Cad Bane checks his corners and his intersections. They should have cloned him instead of Django because all these clone troopers, when they cross it, they don't look left and right. They just go straight. Drives me nuts, but he did it. I was very upset about this Boba Fett's sister revelation because it's ruining my Palpatine revelation.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just ruining.
Yeah.
Hey, but if we're playing that long game with Grogu's blood, it could be
It
back.
could be.
Mhm.
They could
It
get
could
you in
be.
the
Blood,
third,
band name
third
called
quarter.
And this is like spoiling our whole thing because it's the very end of the episode. I went full Liz Lemon eye roll when he said he could send everyone in the galaxy. You have us. I was like, shut up.
You just dude, you just lost her.
I was gonna say,
And if
when he
it
was
wasn't
like,
for her, you wouldn't have gotten her back.
when he was like, "You are never going back to Camino," I wanted to smash cut to her
And
like
then
on
when she's
Camino.
like, "Is that a
Yeah,
promise?"
you know
He's
Like
that's
an
coming
Arrested
up.
Development
They
cut. Like
really
Yeah.
drove
he
that
was
home.
wrong. You know.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
She would end up back on Camino.
Yeah.
And she will. She
Oh,
will. And she'll
geez.
be
It
like,
just-
"But
it
you
just
That's
told
would
the
be-
me I
Chekhov's
couldn't."
gun of animation writing.
Yeah,
I know, but
absolutely.
like they were doing so good the whole episode, and then they landed there, and like the friendship is magic. I was like, get out of here.
But it was very
Losing me
interesting
again.
because the episode almost stood completely on its own without the batch. Like I understand she had to have somebody to radio, and we did have that obligatory like Crosshair chasing them out of the system real fast.
Yeah.
But like
Right.
She
I didn't-
100% rescued herself.
I didn't
Yeah.
need that. I didn't need the boys in this one.
Also,
Totally.
I have a science question.
Yes,
Oh, no.
Paul
Yes,
from work.
Paul.
We'll ask our science panel here. Can they not follow them through Lightspeed? Like, hasn't that happened in Star Wars? Why did
That was a
Crosshair
thing in
not
episode-
follow them like at all?
Oh, he may not know what their
The trajectory
The route.
was that they left.
There's a reason why you can't follow them through Lightspeed, with exception of a few circumstances that this didn't meet, but I can't remember what the circumstances
Was it-
are.
If
If
Last
you know the
Jedi?
route, you can.
the coordinates and the like exact path, because it is such a fast travel, obviously, that even if you're just hairs off, the vector you're going to create is like wildly different.
They could go through space like this to avoid planets, to avoid things, to avoid
Like Willy
to avoid
Wonka's weird elevator that goes in all directions.
Right. So like they're not going in a straight
Oh,
line
right,
from
okay.
point A to point B. They're
It was Last Jedi I was thinking of,
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
the
where they
last show, and that was
track them.
that
Right,
was a
it-
new technology that blew everyone away.
There you go.
because
Right,
they've
right,
never
right,
done
right.
that
And
before.
then when that
You need a
happens, you
special
drive
device.
your starship through the other guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to my girl Amelin Holdo.
Mhm.
But yeah, hyperspace tracking. Because at this point in the galaxy's history, even if you're just a smidge off, just how fast that they are going, you could end up with a totally
Yeah.
different vector.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What's your vector, Victor?
Ah,
Roger.
don't call me Shirley.
Great. Mike Fiala with a theory coming in hot here. If Crosshair is the next plot point, then the Batch better save him quick because Crosshair's record isn't great right now. The Empire might be giving him the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
was
not like in a cool upgrade. Like here, you're more effective with an axe than you are with a
blaster.
shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, but my name is Crosshair. I don't understand.
I don't understand.
just put a here. We put a cross on the axe for you.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I think so. Again, I said it last week. Crosshair is my favorite character of the show. I think he's one of the more compelling. Omega's getting close because now she's a little more interesting rather
Yeah.
than, like you said, being a MacGuffin.
Right.
But he doesn't survive the season. No way.
You don't
So,
think
yeah,
Crosshair?
somebody's gonna die.
No, I don't think
Somebody
Crosshair
big's gonna
survives
die.
this at all.
I
And now
started
that-
out, remember, before episode 1, I was like,
Mhm.
Crosshair is my boy. I love Crosshair. And
Yeah.
I don't want him to die. But you know
I
what?
don't know.
Maybe
I
he'll
think
make the
he's in it.
sacrifice play.
I think the only impactful deaths would end up being Crosshair, Hunter. I don't think we're going to lose Omega now, especially with that idea that she would show back up in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I
Right.
think the most impactful would either be Hunter as a sacrifice and as the leader of the batch,
Hunter
or
can
Crosshair as the one that they couldn't save.
Yeah.
Hunter's
yeah,
so
Hunter-
boring.
As much as I
Hunter,
love like
get outta here.
Wrecker, Tech, and Echo, I wouldn't be that sad if they died.
I would be
Well,
very upset if
Hunter's
Tech
the-
died.
To me, yeah, Tech would make me sad,
You know?
and Wrecker, but Hunter, I'm like, okay, you're
I-
just Rambo, but not.
I do like though Tech is for as funny as he was in the first couple episodes as like he's so tone deaf, he's just the pure logic, like how was the war? Oh,
Well-
it was this. Tech is emerging as the kind of moral center for like he was the one who said, well, hey, we can't
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
can't help her out if we're gunned out
Shut
of the
down.
sky.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of got the moral heart of the group right now.
hmm
Yeah.
Anthony's
He's
like, he thinks we're going to lose them all.
Which
I'll,
also
We probably
go
will.
for broke.
We
All
might.
of the 2000s film Space Cowboys. Remember how that ended? Where he's just on the
Yeah,
moon
Space
and watching it.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Space Cowboys.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh yeah, sorry. That's a great movie. Go watch
Spoiler
Space
alert,
Part of
Cowboys.
the Man with No Name
Um,
trilogy, isn't it?
It's no.
Yeah.
No.
It's-
So by
That's the Jason
Amiga,
X of the.
Wait, did we talk about Brittany's theory here?
what's that?
Isn't
Like,
there?
I think it's like
Brianna
Crosshair is where they get the idea methods for Death Troopers.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
much, possibly.
Yeah,
That'd be
because
interesting if he ends up on Lama Su's operating table instead.
Oh yeah.
You know, why did this one clone have why did this one member of the genetically deviant Bad Batch have a better predisposition to the tracker? I know we had Wrecker also be impacted, but Crosshair more than anyone else had the predisposition.
Crosshair wanted it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's an excuse. It doesn't even work. He's just like, nah, man. I just want to kill people,
I'm
bro.
waiting for that reveal that like it didn't
Give me
work.
my
and he's
chip.
just like,
I just
Yeah.
want one of
am I
the things I
remembering
say
this
to come true.
correctly? That the Kaminoans need Omega to continue their contracts with the Empire for the army. Was that part of their goal that they talked about earlier in the season?
I don't know, because did
Um,
they introduce her as any? Because she was kind of a go back to the medical bay or hanging out with
Yeah,
me
she was
and
a
all
medical
that.
assistant. That's
Yeah.
she.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
don't
they
think she
introduced
would have
her.
been presented to the Empire, but maybe Lama Su. Well, see, because Lama Su doesn't even like the Empire that much, but I can see it being a last minute. Like, if the Empire are going to pull out, like this operation
This
isn't
is
working,
our-
your elite squad isn't working. But wait,
This is our insurance right here.
yeah, she
Right,
might be
but
the insurance
us
policy.
having the foresight of knowing that the troopers that are coming up in the universe they're not clones. Doesn't that give us like a little bit of inkling that she survives, that she doesn't go back to them in some way, because she doesn't perpetuate this the cycle of clones.
Yeah.
Amy says that she thinks that Lama Su wanted a daughter.
Lama Su is the prime minister who wanted to.
oh,
Nala-
Nala Se.
Nala-
Nala
you
Se.
know how I
Nala
keep
Nala
them.
say loves her.
You know
I
how I
wrote
keep
that.
their names right in my
Huh.
brain? Nala Se, because I like Nala from The Lion King. So I like
Boy.
that character. And
She's a
Spoilers for
girl.
Lion King.
oh yeah, and that too. I didn't even think of that. I was like, I like these two characters.
Yeah,
and
Amy
then
said that's what she meant.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
And then
See, I was so
Lama
excited to
sue
see
you later.
Ton Wei, and then Ton Wei got the
I know.
short end of the blaster. I mean,
Okay.
it'd be fascinating if they cloned her back, but I think that was a like, hey, look, you know this character.
Yeah.
Pew.
Very
Today
upset about
said
that.
disagreed completely with my assessment of Hunter's death would be excruciating. I feel like it would be excruciating for the effect it would have on Omega, but
Mhm.
I don't personally feel that emotional connection to Hunter
Mhm.
based on what I've seen so far. But it just
I
could
feel-
be me.
Like we've also
Brings
seen the
children
least
into
of
battle.
Hunter's abilities. I get he's got the extra senses and he's the leader and the tactician.
Yeah.
But, like I feel like we have. I'm like, where's your cool power, man?
He brings children into battle, which I do not like about him. He doesn't check his corners, and he's always trying to do the power of friendship thing. And even I'm telling you, even she wasn't having it, because he was like,
Because
they go, and she was like, yeah, cool story, bro. She said,
I'm gonna
cool
jump
story,
on
bro,
this
to him.
robot.
I think he's trying to teach her to be I think he's trying to treat her like a child and trying to give her a childhood. And I don't think he lets her go into battle so much.
That's
as
what's
he
gonna get him killed.
begrudgingly gives
Four
in.
men and a baby.
Okay,
Yeah.
listen.
Four clones and a little lady.
I don't. If anyone decides that they're like, oh, you know what would make my kid really happy? I'm going to bring him to a firefight. You still say no. I don't care how much you like them.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
If
I-
he
Get outta
really
here,
loved me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Really
only
love me,
one,
put me to death.
the only one of the Bad Batch that I would absolutely lose it to is like, it would be Wrecker, and it's
Wrecker.
only if Omega had to watch him die or
Yes.
vice
That would be
versa.
upsetting.
I would
Oh,
lose
yeah.
it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
On
he was the
Camino,
first one. He
she's
was the
not
first one
supposed
to,
go.
to greet her. By the way,
Yeah.
like.
And
It
the
was like I could
flowers.
see him just stumbling down the hall,
no.
like
Mhm.
excited like Christmas morning.
She gave him the bunny back. What's the bunny's name? Lulu? Lulu
Oh, yeah.
something?
Yeah.
I
Something,
think.
yeah.
Somebody
This
can.
cracks me up. Steve Nara says, so Bad Batch Season 4 finale is Saving Private Omega. I like
Yeah,
it.
we got a lot of seasons to get through before
Yeah,
we
we
get
do.
to before we
How
unpack
soon is
that.
it before we see Boba Fett? What are you guys thinking?
I kind of don't want to see him, but
Really?
Season
I feel like
finale
Season
just
finale.
a hint, and then the title card that says Omega will return. ...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any more. Like, listen, we spoke about this a little bit before.
Yeah, yeah.
Where, like, in the Clone Wars, they introduced a whole lot of new characters. In
Mhm.
every show, they've introduced a whole lot of new characters. This one's not doing a lot of introducing. It's a lot of like, hey, you remember this guy?
Best of the week, yeah.
I want less of that. I want a lot less of that. The less of that we get and the more new characters, I'll be thrilled. Or even like really like low, like deep cut character, like so deep cut, like we don't even know who it is.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
screenshot
like
whoever that
that.
was
I've never been right on the show.
Everybody quickly looks it up online and pretends like they knew who it was all along.
Which always happens. Like the guy
Like
who showed up in
Sylvie and Loki. Everyone's like, oh yeah, totally. I know.
yeah,
Second
Sylvie.
Enchantress. No one.
what was
No
it?
one
What was the
knows.
other thing? What was the joke about that? Where everyone was pretending they knew who on the plane, when he's on the plane.
Oh,
Oh
DB
yeah,
Cooper.
DB Cooper, like everyone pretending
Oh
they knew.
yes, that famous DB Cooper incident.
DB Cooper.
Literally, that was the first time I'd ever heard of DB
Yes, me
Cooper.
too.
Is it really?
But like in this,
That
what
was
was
like
it,
the most
second?
searched Google search. That
DB
It
Cooper.
was. But in like the second or third episode, they brought back like one of those clones that who abandoned
Cut. It was cut.
Cut
Yeah.
and Sew. Yes, I remember Cut and
That's right.
Sew.
So
But like not everyone knew who Cut was. That's a deep cut memory.
that was
you know what I mean?
that was.
So
Yeah.
I
And
thought that was
even Kanan, that was kind of
Yeah,
because
right
Yeah.
over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
There's
always
a-
like, oh, there's a child with a man's voice. Oh, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. Oh, okay.
right.
that really got me.
Brittany Brianna says, I definitely think this is tying into the Book of Boba Fett. I wonder if he finds out he's not the only unaltered Django clone. I wonder how he would treat the ceremonial armor and stuff, like the, I
Yeah.
mean, that's his armor particularly, but like just that idea of like, this is Mandalorian. It belongs, like,
Yeah,
there's my family line. Because they've done a really important job of establishing the kind of Mandalorian creed and like the family ties, and we've got the chain codes with Boba Fett as well. I
yeah.
can definitely see a lot of payoff. And is that this Christmas? Is that this winter that we get?
That's this winter.
Boba
Yeah.
Fett?
Yeah.
I think it's the
I can see
second.
this ending in August,
Friday.
and then
and then the wait
Yeah.
to see that, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
John says she thinks we're gonna see Fennec again.
I love her.
100%.
I love her. She's
Yeah,
one of
I
my
think so,
favorite
too.
new characters in all of Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Again, a
Um,
new character. I loved her.
Yeah.
When the Clone Wars ended, there was they released like some animatics and stuff that they didn't get to, stories that they didn't get to finish, but they had some like test footage that they had, and one of them was Boba Fett versus Cad Bane
Right.
in like this high noon shootout
Yeah,
with
we
a couple
spoke,
other
yeah.
bounty hunters surrounding them. But
Which is
I
how
keep
he
waiting.
got
I want to
this,
see
right?
that moment.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Which is
exactly how he got
from
that.
from
Want to
Cad
see
Bane.
how I got these?
Want to see how I got these dents?
But I want to see them. I want to see them bring that back for like the last episode and have that duel that they never got to finish.
Yeah, I think it. I have a feeling, at some point Filoni's like, because he had shot that, they scripted it, and I guess I don't know what it's called, but shot it, whatever.
Mhm.
But I have a feeling he's probably like, I already did that. I think we're gonna see either that never happened and maybe it just be implied, or it never happens and they're like, oh yeah, it was supposed to be this thing, but maybe like Fennec was the one that gave him the dent on his helmet or something on accident, and they sort of
And
just
Omega is the
rewrite
one
that.
that's at stake that they're dueling over.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I would love to see that, because as much fun as it is to see stories and like what could have been, and I mean, we're getting Marvel shows that are all like, what if, but like in the Star Wars universe, I mean, personally, I don't think that they've had any super massive missteps they can't recover from, especially with the TV shows that they're doing. Kathleen Kennedy
It's a
knows what
Muse
she's
song.
doing. Dave Filoni obviously knows what he's
my
doing.
God.
There's a reason why he's helming this. I would love to see them say, you know what? That was a different time. That was a different story. We had different resources. We're taking a new plot line. And that would be cool to see that changed up and really give Fennec Shand some notoriety that makes her echo throughout the Star Wars universe, not just as a quick thing in Mando season 1 and then and where we get her in season 2. Just put some weight behind that name. Put some respect on it.
Yeah,
Respect
and maybe
on
that's the respect where they come together. You know what I mean? That's the
I
respect.
mean, would love to see it, and hopefully, I'm starting to think more and more now, like specifically after this episode of Spoiler, that I'm like, yeah, this is tying directly into Book of Boba Fett. Like in some capacity, I really hope it does. But luckily for all of you guys, we don't have those answers. So we'll be back next Monday. We'll hopefully with maybe some more answers to see what happens. We'll be episode 10.
Next Monday, I don't think. I don't.
right.
We won't be in here, but maybe we can do something about that.
Oh, Coco agrees.
Your dog's barking.
But maybe.
I'm very excited. I got my gonk.
Yeah,
Special
but
appearance.
even
Special
I'm gonna-
gonk appearance.
I'm gonna let Boba outro the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't. I didn't get the memo. I don't have my Star Wars with me.
Alex, you were
I
supposed
just,
to
I just got this today, and I was so happy to get it just for this because this is becoming my favorite character in the Bad Batch.
Oh my gosh.
Is the poor
yeah.
gonk droid? So he made a cameo in my show.
Oh, I
Anyways.
love it. I love.
All right. Anyways,
little gonk droid. I figured, like in the Star Wars universe, I would inevitably end up being a gonk droid, which is great. Thank you guys so much for watching. So we won't be back next Monday because it is a holiday and we'll be off watching The Bad Batch for the 4th time. But we do have our Let Your Spoiler Side Show Facebook group. Alex, bring that link up.
oh, do I have to bring that back up again?
Yeah.
We do.
Bam.
Almost like it's our job. Head over to
Almost.
side.show/SW spoilers. And we always update that with whatever the newest show is. Again, when you go in there, it is the Cad Bane, misty hallway, Wild Wild West. So complete spoilers when you head into. So yeah, complete spoiler whenever you go into that group.
Toothpicks optional.
Toothpicks are not optional. No, not until
I
at
love
least
it.
the show's over. But we do, and we will have an episode of Let Your Spoiler Sideshow Loki on Friday. We'll be talking episode 4? Yeah, 4. Wow,
Yeah.
already episode 4. That's a
Yes.
bummer. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you. We'll see you throughout the whole
We'll
week.
see
We
you
got
around.
a ton of shows.
We'll be
As
here.
always, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Thank you.